Hi guys, before I get into my video, I just want to ask you something. I am planning to review the Books of Blood by Clive Barker, but because there are currently 6 volumes in that series, I was originally planning to do a 6-part mini-series focusing on each volume of the Books of Blood. So part 1's going to be focusing around stories in volume 1, part 2 is going to be volume 2, and so on and so forth. Let me know in the comments down below if you would like me to review the Books of Blood first off, and if you would like me to have it as a 6-part mini-series, or whether you want me to do it as a 3-part mini-series. The reason why I wanted to do it is in 6 parts, so I can focus a little bit more on the individual stories. But let me know. Let me know down in the comments if you would like me to talk about the Books of Blood by Clive Barker. And if you do, let me know if you want me to do it as a 6-part mini-series, or if you would prefer that, or a 3-part mini-series, or let me know how many parts you would like me to actually do with that. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on regarding that, guys. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is David. If you are new here, hi, welcome. And if you have been watching my channel for a while now, welcome back. So the novel that I will be reviewing today isn't really a novel. I went into my local bookshop a while ago and I was looking around like I usually do, and I came across this little thing in my bookstore. That being the this little biography about Tolkien, which is J.R.R. Tolkien, his life, work and faith by Raymond Edwards. So yeah, it's only a little thing. It's more of a booklet than anything else. It doesn't have any pictures in it. It's only about 90 pages long, and all the pages are really small. It's something that you can easily fit inside your pocket. So I found this one in the religious section of the bookshop, and I picked this one up while I was doing my buddy read with Kayla Lenzen with the Lord of the Rings novel. I will link it down below in case you're interested in watching that video. So while I was doing that buddy read, I went into my bookshop and I found this. So I thought, okay, you know, it's great. I've never read anything. I've never read a biography about Tolkien before. I know there's some books out there. I will put a couple here that that I can remember. I know there is one called Tolkien and the Great War, which I believe, don't actually quote me on this, but I believe that one may have inspired the movie, which is simply called Tolkien. If you haven't watched the movie of Tolkien and you're a massive Lord of the Rings fan and the Hobbit fan, I would highly recommend it. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it is really, really cool. So when I saw this, I instantly picked it up. It was really cheap. And yeah, it was a cool experience, so I'm just going to tell you guys my thoughts on this. So this book was originally published in 2012, and I can't really find much information about this particular book. Either the book itself or about the author, Raymond Edwards. I'm not entirely sure. I believe Raymond has done some journalism in newspapers before, and he's written for several newspapers. But outside that, I believe he's not really a widespread author. He may have written some newspaper articles and some mini books. He's a very knowledgeable on Tolkien. This is a very nice, tiny, compact book, and you can buy this one on Amazon right now. You can buy it as a physical copy or as a ebook on your Kindle. So in this section of this video, I would usually say at this point, this is going to be a spoiler-free video, but because this isn't a fiction book, this is a non-fiction book about the man himself, Tolkien. So you can't really spoil anything because this isn't a story that someone made up. This is the actual retelling of the events, or some of the events from Tolkien's life, obviously as a diluted form because of how small it is. So I don't really think that spoilers is going to make any difference. Although if you are planning to read this particular book, I'm not going to mention any massive like events in Tolkien's life. And also this is going to be my own thoughts and opinions regarding this book as well, so please remember that, guys, going forward. So as I've said, this is a little biography about Tolkien. If you don't know who Tolkien is, he is the author that wrote the Lord of the Rings series, as well as the Hobbit book, as well as some other fantasy books. In my personal opinion, he is the grandfather of fantasy books and the grandfather of fantasy as a genre. And this book starts off with telling us about his childhood, about Tolkien as a boy and his family life, and obviously when he eventually died. That's where the book actually finishes. So it's a kind of a mini biography about from birth till death. It tells us about his parents, only as like a very briefly. We found out that Tolkien was a Catholic and how he was extremely religious and how he was dedicated to his faith. It does mention his love life with a woman called Edith, who Edith is in a big chunk of this. She isn't in it all the way through, but she is mentioned in a big chunk of this book. It's really nice about how they actually met, Tolkien and Edith actually met, and how I believe it was kind of a like a forbidden love type of thing, and how their parents didn't want them to be together, and how Tolkien, I wouldn't say forced, but he kind of encouraged Edith to become a to convert to being a Catholic, and how Edith had struggles with Tolkien about how he was always working and he was away from home all the time, and he wasn't always there to love her, and she maybe kind of felt a bit what's the word, neglected, and she probably needed some TLC from Tolkien. Tolkien in this book is a sweetheart, is extremely educated, and it mentions about how he was always interested in languages. He always had a passion and a interest in creating different languages that he made up, and he did this for fun. And it also mentions about how he went to university and how he was a member of a club called the Inklings, and how how one of these members was an author called C.S. Lewis, who, if you wasn't aware, he wrote the Narnia series, or the Narnia books, like The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe and them types of books. And because C.S. Lewis is in this book, he is mentioned a lot from the perspective of Raymond, the author, and Tolkien and Lewis were extremely close friends. They respected each other, both professionally and personally as well. They were both extremely good friends. But it also mentions about how Lewis showed Tolkien some work that he was doing from the Narnia, from The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. He showed him a bit at the beginning of the book, probably just to get his opinion on it. And it mentions about how Tolkien said that he extremely disliked what he actually read from the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, or the Narnia books. I don't know if it was back then called The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, if Lewis came up with a title for it. I do, at the time, I actually do not know if this was, I didn't know how to take this. I didn't know whether it was just Tolkien being an a-hole and like didn't really have a filter, or whether he was just being honest with his friend, saying, right, okay, I do like you, Lewis, as a person, as and as a friend, but what you've written down isn't that good in my personal opinion. I didn't know what way to take that, but I personally think that he was just trying to be honest with his friend and didn't really want to pull the wool over Lewis's eyes, and because they were both extremely good friends. They were both respected each other, even though they're both, even though I feel that their religious beliefs, because Tolkien was a Catholic, as I said, and Lewis is a Christian, or was a Christian, and I think that maybe there've been some conflicts with their religious beliefs, but it never made them have any fights or any arguments or any fallings out. It mentions in this book about how Tolkien was in the First World War. I believe it was the First World War. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong or not, but I'm pretty sure I'm actually right on this. And how the war is very briefly mentioned in this book, but I believe that the experiences that Tolkien had in the war inspired him greatly with writing the Lord of the Rings. It also mentions how he had written the Semerillion Novel. I will put it up here for you guys. I believe that book is, I know it's not a fiction book. I know it's not like a storybook or anything like that. I believe, as far as I'm aware, it's more of a history book about Middle Earth and where the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit actually are set in. And I believe that it's a series of kind of short stories, or a series of events and battles and relationships with elves and dwarves and men and all that type of stuff, and how it tells you different historical events in Middle Earth. That's as far as I know about the Semerillion. Again, let me know if I am wrong with that. But in this book, it does mention how Tolkien wanted to originally publish the Lord of the Rings and the Semerillion, and have them both published at exactly the same time, on the same date, both together. Well, not in the same book, but two different books, but published at the same date. And how his publisher didn't want him to do this for reasons unexplained in the book, probably because they didn't want him to oversaturate the market. And it did mention that there was a desire for Tolkien to write a sequel to The Hobbit, because The Hobbit was the first book in Middle Earth, and then The Lord of the Rings is kind of like a sequel and the follow-on to that, and how there was a strong desire for him to actually write a sequel, which was The Lord of the Rings, and how he, I believe he wanted to write it as one book and publish it as one book, which you can get nowadays, but how he was encouraged to publish it as 3 separate books, as far as I'm aware. This is really cool. It actually mentions about how when Lord of the Rings was actually published, after it was published, but how Tolkien struggled to finish the Semerillion, about how he had this massive collection of papers and writings, and how he struggled to publish the Semerillion as a novel. And after his tragic death, which I personally feel is a massive loss to the fantasy writing community, and still is, his son Christopher Tolkien, he actually took up the responsibility to actually complete and publish as much of Tolkien's unpublished work as he possibly can, in a most respectful way for his father, that would be respectful for Tolkien, and to show respect for his father as well. So I think that was kind of a cool thing for him to actually do. So yeah, that's really my little take on this small pocket-sized book. So in this section, I am going to tell you one thing that I disliked about the book and one thing that I liked about it. Let's start off with a positive. Let's start off with the thing I liked about it. Apart from that it's a book written about Tolkien, and that it's incredibly short, I liked reading certain events from his life. I liked reading about his relationship with C.S. Lewis. That was probably the top thing that I liked so much about this book. Their relationship with each other and their friendship, even though they may have had conflicts with each other and disagreements, their relationship was so potent and true, and that was an incredible thing for me to actually read about. And one thing that I disliked about the book was the way it was written. I've never read anything by Raymond Edwards before, and as I said, he is extremely knowledgeable about Tolkien. You do get that from reading this book. You do know that he actually did his homework about the guy, and he knew what he was talking about. But the thing that I disliked about it was about his writing style. It is a bit dry. Well, it is a bit dry in places, or in a lot of places, even though it's very informative and interesting at times. But how it's written is incredibly dry, and but for a small book, it was fine. But the writing style was just a bit dry for me personally. So, closing thoughts for this novel. Listen, guys, this isn't going to be a massive enjoyable book for everyone. This is only a small book about Tolkien. So if you are a fan of the Lord of the Rings novels or the films, and if you maybe watched the Hobbit movies or read the book, or possibly both, and you are interested in reading a little bit about Tolkien and his career and all the events from his life, or definitely some of the major events in his life and all the experiences that he had as a writer and in his career, but you're not really sure about whether you want to commit fully to reading a full-length novel of Tolkien, because maybe you're not sure whether you would like it or find it enjoyable, but you are still curious about reading about the guy. This is probably the book for you. It's really small. You could easily fit it inside your pocket. And as I said, you can buy it on Amazon now as a physical book or as a ebook on your Kindle. And it'll tell you all the events that happened in Tolkien's life, and it'll give you a sense whether you want to commit to reading I wouldn't say a proper, but a longer book about Tolkien's life. I mean, it's certainly done that for me. I will be reading some novels about Tolkien, maybe not this year, but maybe next year. So yeah, it's a fun little book if you're interested in finding a little bit about the guy, or maybe you have an essay that you have to do about Tolkien and you want to read something quick. This is the book for you guys to actually read. So what do I rate this novel? At first, I was nearly going to give it a 3 stars. When I clicked the record button, I was going to say, right, I'm going to give this book a 3 stars. But I had to think about it. So after consideration, I am going to give this a 3.5 stars out of 5, purely because of how I enjoyed reading about it and becoming that bit more informative about Tolkien's life and reading about the guy in general. So I'm going to give this novel currently a 3.5 stars out of 5. So that's it, guys. That's my review on J.R.R. Tolkien, His Life, Work and Faith by Raymond Edwards. If you have enjoyed this video as a whole, please give it a massive like, comment down below, let me know if I've inspired you to read this book, if you have read it, if you have read it, if you have enjoyed it, if you didn't enjoy it, if you have read any other books about Tolkien, let me know down below what ones you have read and if you would recommend them to me or not. And let me know if this video has been a bit helpful to you. I wasn't planning to educate anyone in Tolkien because I've only read a little book about him. But let me know if you have found this video a bit helpful, and let me know if I've maybe encouraged you to actually pick this book up. And yeah, if you've enjoyed it, and if you have enjoyed this video as a whole, please consider subscribing to my channel. It always helps the channel grow. And I just want to say at this point, thank you so much for everyone that has subscribed to me recently, and thank you so much for everyone that has actually watches my videos. Even if you just watch this video and you never subscribe to my channel, and if you never watch my videos again, I just want to say to you, thank you so much for giving my video a chance. And if you have enjoyed this video as a whole, please click that subscribe button. As I said, it helps the channel grow. And if you do subscribe, please click on the little bell notification button, just so you know whenever I upload videos. If I can talk, I upload videos every Monday and Friday. And like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, guys. And lastly, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep reading. And I will see you in my next video.